Shalom, this is Daniel Stern coming at you from Jerusalem, downtown Jerusalem, the Netivia building. And I would like to say that the time has come. The ground assault has begun. Israel is not calling it a ground assault or a ground invasion, but rather maneuvers, military maneuvers in the south. Nevertheless, the Israeli army has entered the Gaza Strip in multiple points, and unlike the last week, has not withdrawn. Over the last week, the Israeli army has entered the Gaza Strip for short periods of time to do a specific mission, whether it was to knock out an anti-tank base, or to disrupt telecommunication wires, or to retrieve the bodies of the hostages, or other things, or to look for clues to the whereabouts of the hostages. The army would enter and then withdraw. But as of 2 days ago, the Israeli army has entered the Gaza Strip and is slowly advancing. Carefully, protecting the troops is the number one priority. And we are slowly advancing from multiple locations in the northern Gaza Strip and also a little bit in the center of the Gaza Strip. But we have entered even from the beach, tanks, columns of tanks are entering the Gaza Strip. And I personally have to say that I was surprised at how emotional I got seeing the columns of tanks on the beaches that used to be the Israeli towns of Gush Katif, that in 2005 Israel evacuated by force. The settlers in those towns of Gush Katif were forced to leave by the Israeli army and the Israeli police. And they left a beautiful area that was very quickly, utterly destroyed by the Gazans, the Palestinians, the PLO that everyone calls the moderates, destroyed the greenhouses, the homes, and the gardens in the Israeli settlements of Gush Katif. And I had a tear roll down my cheek seeing a picture of Israeli tanks driving on that beach. Israel has entered the Gaza Strip and are heading towards Beit Lahia and Beit Hanun, and I hope in the end also to the Shifa hospital, which is of course one of the primary Hamas bases in the Gaza Strip. Israel is sending down thousands of leaflets encouraging the Gazan civilians to move south beyond the Gaza River to areas that are not yet part of the war zone, areas that provide relative safety, areas where there is humanitarian supplies provided. But the Hamas is not allowing the Gazan civilians to leave. The Hamas is ordering them to concentrate in hospitals and other humanitarian areas. They are using them as human shields, which is a war crime. The Hamas is using the Gazan civilians as human shields to protect their military bases. The Hamas is using schools, mosques, humanitarian locations, and hospitals to stage assaults, to fire rockets, and as their primary command and control centers. This, of course, is a war crime, but not only that, it negates the safety that these buildings should have due to them being used by the Hamas combatants. Nevertheless, our forces are advancing on Gaza. Our forces have entered. The ground assault has begun. And I pray for our soldiers, for for their protection, for the civilians, the hostages, and their protection. I pray that we will find them and we will get them. And I want you to pray with me. Pray for the soldiers. Pray for the hostages. Pray for the uninvolved, good-willed Gazans that only want to live their lives. The good-willed ones. The ones who wish the Hamas was not there. Pray for them as well. Pray for the government. Pray for the generals. Pray for the families of the hostages. Pray for the families of the dead. Pray for the wounded. Support us. Support us now. This is the time. The ground assault has begun. Help our soldiers. Help our people. Help Israel.